Aloha! I'm Representative Tupola, and today we're going to do a cooking show for bringing it back to the people to show the usefulness of the Kiawe Bean pod. This is all over Wai'anae, all over my district, my area, but a lot of people think that it's rubbish. But today we're going to show actually how you can utilize it for something that might be healthy and nutritious for your family. So I've invited a friend, Vince to join the show today because we're going to make energy bars. Yes, right. This is what all children need, something nutritious and healthy to eat after school. Not musubi, yeah, not the candy or the fruit roll-up, but something nutritious like an energy bar. So Vince, take it away. What do we got here?
Okay, thank you, Andrea, for having me here. So we're using Kiawe bean pods that have been gathered, washed, and dried and milled into flour. And we're using the flour as a base ingredient for the power bars.
Yes.
The other ingredients would be organic ground peanuts, which are living in this jar, organic raw honey, and some pa'akai.
Salt.
From the salt ponds on Kauai. We use the best stuff.
Oh, yeah. This is not any old salt.
No, I mean, you can use whatever you got, but since we got the goods, we use the goods.
High quality over here.
Right. Now, so, I mean, my question to you and to all the viewers would be, how many of you knew that you could actually eat Kiawe bean pods?
I know. I mean, how many of us really saw this and thought, you know what, I'm going to crush it and eat it? I didn't know. How did you find out about it?
Okay, well, as a kid, going to the beach in Maili, I grew up in Pearl City for a while, and my best friend's family, they used to come dive out in Maili, Ho'okele Street. And so I remember being on the beach and being hungry, and you had to wait for Uncle to come in before you could have the rice and the sardines, right? So we would eat Kiawe beans because they were sweet and we didn't get scolded. So I have that memory, but we were, this information was given to us by folks who came from the University of Arizona back in 2006.
Nice.
When I was on Ma'u Farms. And we'll just talk more as we make this recipe, okay? So this is a no cook, no refrigeration, and the thing will last for at least 6 weeks in my car in Wai'anae.
Nice.
Okay? Yeah, we'll move that out of the way. Okay, so we're going to turn our scale on. Now we'll do 2 batches. So we'll do one using a scale, so that if you have a kitchen scale, you can copy this exactly. And we'll do one with a volume measure with using measuring cups, so that you can do it that way too. And it's a very user-friendly recipe. I mean, you want it sweeter, add more honey. Too sweet, add more flour, okay? All right, so we're gonna put our bowl on there and we're gonna tare it. Now you're gonna have trouble because you're gonna not be able. Maybe we'll have to do like this. We'll put ingredients like this, and then we'll turn it around so the viewers can see it, right?
All right.
We're gonna go to grams. All right, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put 120 grams of Kiawe bean pod flour, and that's basically 1 cup. So why don't you scoop out a cup?
Did you get that? 120 grams is 1 cup. So you don't even have to Google that. Today, you're not just getting a cooking show, but you're also getting some math education. I mean, really, where do you get this? Nowhere. 120 grams, so I have about 10 grams more. Oops, a little bit too much.
Yeah, scoop a bit out.
Okay, so we're getting there,
Yeah, don't need to be exact. Close enough.
Okay.
Right? So we'll just show them that, right? So there you go. You can see that, right? Now, the flour is kind of chunky. Maybe we can just hold that up. I don't know if they can see there. So let's take the fork and go ahead and break it up.
And we washed our hands, just so you know.
Absolutely.
We cleaned our hands and washed them before we prepared for this show. And Vince said that it's better actually to cook using your hands instead of gloves so that you can actually feel the texture while you're cooking. So I'm just crunching up these big pieces of flour that are in there so that it's nice and smooth.
Good. So in Hawaii, Kiawe bean pods are known as animal food. Anybody that's raised animals here, pigs, horses, cows, goats, even geese, some dogs, they all love to eat Kiawe bean pods because they're sweet, and they happen to be naturally sweet, very nutritious, and most important of all, at least for us in Wai'anae, they're also diabetic friendly.
Wow. That's really interesting.
And that was my reaction when this couple from Arizona came to Ma'o Farms in 2006 and shared this with us. When they said it's also diabetic friendly, I was like, what? Can you say that again? Because I had been running a workshop in our schools on the coast, and we were presently in Wai'anae Intermediate School, and we were getting 7th graders that had type 2 adult onset diabetes. We had 11-year-olds. Yeah, and so much of it is diet, right? And everybody's taste bud is adapted to sweet. We love our sweet. It's like, it's just the way it is right now. And
I think that's the thing about healthy food, right? Is that people want food that tastes good, but when you say healthy, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's probably going to taste bland or bitter.
Right. And so for me, it was like, wow, we have the most concentration of Kiawe trees on the island in Wai'anae. And we actually have the highest concentration of diabetics in Wai'anae as well.
That's true.
Within a certain population. So, I don't believe there's any accident with things like that. And I also just believe strongly that the Aina will take care of us, even if we don't take care of it. And for me, this was really proof. So since 2006, I just felt like I had a calling to learn about it first and then share it.
Wow.
So
how amazing would that be?
That's beautiful. That looks perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so back on the scale. Let's see. It's shut down. We'll turn it back on. So now we're going to add peanut butter.
Okay.
We're going to put it back on grams, all right? And we want about 110 grams of peanut butter, all right?
Which would be about a cup.
No, we're just going to pour.
Just kidding, not a cup.
No, just going to pour it this time. The next round we'll do it with weight measure. And then you can use the fork, or I'll use the fork here.
Okay, 110 you said, yeah?
We're looking for 110 grams of peanut butter. We grind our own peanuts. These are organic peanuts. Beautiful. All right, there's 115, close enough. Maybe you guys can see that. 117.
Okay, so I'm going to mix this up?
Nope.
Not yet?
Not yet. So the next one is honey. Now honey is the most tricky to pour because it's the smallest measure and it pours the fastest. Okay, so take your time.
Okay, what am I getting to? What's the number?
60.
Okay, let's see if I have skills. 60 grams.
60. Right.
Oh, the pressure.
Here, let me hold that. I'll slice it for you as you get close. So this is raw organic honey. We actually have a friend that keeps bees on our property in Wai'anae. But this honey is not from him. This honey is from the Big Island. It's beautiful honey. Wow,
we have stuff from every island on this show. My goodness. Boom.
Wow.
60.
She was like exactly 60.
Okay, now we mix?
Okay, now and then pa'akai.
Pa'akai, how
much? So 2 nice pinches of pa'akai, and of course all of these ingredients you can adjust to taste, right?
Okay,
so you want more salty?
Should we do it? Yeah. Bam! That's how we do it.
Sprinkle one more.
And one more.
Beautiful.
There we go.
All right, your pa'akai's on.
Okay.
And then we're going to slide this on the side here. All right, so the mixing. So you just want to get all the dry ingredients mixed with the wet, all right? That's the object. So you go ahead and kind of stir that around.
Okay.
And then kind of chop it up. Yeah, kind of do this to it, okay?
Okay.
Chop, yeah.
The good thing is that I'm a mother, and so this is like every day for me. Making breakfast, making lunch, making dinner. So this is encouraging because it doesn't take too much skill to make these nutrition bars, and they last for a long time.
Yeah, we call them Aina bars.
Aina bars.
And they're, all the ingredients are pretty Aina-based ingredients. I challenge any of you out there to look at the energy bars that you eat, the tiger milk bar or even the Cliff bar, and look at what your ingredients are, because there are only 4 ingredients in this bar. Kiawe bean pod flour, which is diabetic friendly, organic ground peanuts, organic raw honey, and pa'akai.
And I gotta share, I'm a huge label reader. So for those people out there, the more ingredients on the label, the better, the worse, what do you think? When you say look at the ingredients, all of us don't even know what those words mean. We look at the words and we're like, what is sucrose, lactose? Yeah.
If you can't understand what it is, then maybe we really don't want to be putting it in our body.
Yeah.
I think that's the simple thing. And I think it's really important, as people that buy most of our food nowadays, which is a big change from the past where we used to grow it or gather it, that we have to understand that all these ingredients, they're not for our benefit. They're the benefit of the manufacturer and the retailer.
It's true.
So things can sit on the shelf for a longer period of time. that generally doesn't make them better for us. We actually, we had a comment from somebody in the Department of Agriculture about extending the shelf life of these bars to export them to Japan. And he said, why don't you just add a preservative? And I was like, and then he looked at my face and he said, you're not going to do that, are you? And I said, no. I mean, things have a natural shelf life.
Yep.
You know, we don't know what the shelf life is of these because they've never lasted longer than 6 weeks. You know, like one of my friends on Maui, Cliff, I called him up one time and he was like, oh, Vince, oh man, I got one container left in the cupboard. And he looked in his cupboard and there was 2 chunks left. And he said, I'm going to eat them right now. And it had been 6 weeks before when I gave him the bars, you know, and they were good. And our Auntie Keao, who stays with us up in Lulu'ule, she had picked up a bunch of surplus containers from the farmer's market, and she had them in her room for 6 weeks too. And we're like, Auntie, you're still eating those? And she said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with them. They're good. So I was like, okay, we know they last for 6 weeks. In the refrigerator, these things would last for months and months and months.
Right. And the thing about shelf life, I think, is that you also lose nutritional value. So you try to preserve it for longer and longer, and then it's probably not doing what it was intended to do. And so you should eat food fresh.
So you're looking really good here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just clean the fork, and we're going to take this and we're just going to get it into one nice ball, okay?
Like a ball of dough or something.
Yes, exactly. And it looks like the key is the consistency. This is a bit dry. No, this is going to be fine. If it's too dry, if you notice it's too dry, then you want to use literally on a batch this big, you want to use half a cup of water. If you put this under your faucet to put water in it, you're going to have a gooey mess, which is all right. It'll still taste good.
So you think this consistency is okay?
I think you're going to be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to make it into a ball and kind of put all the pieces together.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to do it.
We love doing, we call these Bar clinics. So for residents on the west side in Wai'anae, Nanakuli area, if this is something that you would enjoy doing, you get a hold of representative here and let her know, and we'll come to your place and do this with you so you can learn how to do those. Okay. Now, just like dough, you want to kind of like press it and fold it and knead it.
Yeah.
Okay. And what we're doing here now, we're just kind of mixing it up so that it pretty much tastes the same all the way through. Yeah.
Right.
But there's no concentration of honey or peanut butter in any one part of it. Yeah.
Wow. This is so good. It smells good. It's going to taste fresh. I mean, I know that he already said it, but people just don't know that it's sweet tasting, you know? So to actually mix it in with some peanut butter and honey, I can only imagine what it's going to taste like.
Okay, that's beautiful. Now, we notice if you over knead it, if you press it like too many times, then the oils
are coming out.
Right.
Yes.
So we just want it enough to stick together and kind of mix it up, and then we're good to go.
Okay.
And you can roll this out in a pan. You can press it on a sheet or a bowl, or you can just break it off or make a log and break off chunks of it.
And this is it?
That's it.
Wow. So what about maybe if we pressed it into a pan and put maybe guava jelly on top, or
press chocolate chips in it, sprinkle grated
coconut. Oh.
One of my mo'os, we were making Wai'anae bars at home, and she said there was guavas on the table. She said, Papa, let's put a guava in. So we put a fresh guava in the mix. The thing was super
love fresh guava. Love it.
So you can play from here. You can put raisins, goji berries. You want other nuts, macadamia nuts. Like you can do whatever you want. I mean,
so when you put it into the pan, does it harden, or is it kind of the same?
It'll right, as when you press it into a pan or on a plate or something, it will get stiff.
Okay.
So usually, if it's real soft, we'll let it stiffen up and then we'll cut it with a butter knife. And if it's like this consistency is a nice consistency, we'll roll it out, press it in, and cut it right away.
So right here, a cup, it'll serve maybe like 4, depending on how big you make the bars. It could be snacks for maybe 4 kids after school, 6 kids after school.
Yeah. This is like 10 ounces. If you eat about 2 ounces, you're pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the kind of food too that like you want to take it and really, instead of just like wolfing it down, you want to like
enjoy it.
You want to kind of savor it.
How many people really do that anymore? Because we're so busy, we just eat and we consume food without really tasting it. This right here, a fresh batch of Wai'anae bars. You really gotta savor that, and it's so grainy,
Right.
It's a good texture.
It's kind of gritty, which is why it works in a power bar, because it has that kind of grit to it.
Ooh, that is good. That is good. I like
Good
it.
job.
First time, not bad.
Okay,
Okay.
so we'll just put this on the side. You guys ought to come on over and taste it. It's good.
Yeah.
And now we'll make a batch using cups, dry measure, right? Because a lot of people don't have
The scale.
the scale, you know. I mean, we make these professionally so that we have the equipment. So get a nice heaping cup here, right? So we go, so it's really simple. It's 1 cup or 1 measure of Kiawe bean pod flour, right? Which we call Wai'anae gold
Okay.
because it really is
So 1 cup.
1 cup of that, right?
All right.
And then we're gonna put half a cup of peanut butter. Now there's a trick we're gonna use here. So first we're gonna smash some of these chunks of flour up a little bit, right? And then I don't know, for guys that bake, I think I must have learned this from my mom or my sister. But if you take flour and you kind of coat a little bit of your container for peanut butter, it may not stick as much. Because otherwise you're gonna have to, scrape the peanut butter.
I was
out
gonna
of here.
say the other one I like because then you don't have to do the dishes.
Right, simple. We'll just leave a little bit in there. How's that?
Okay.
All right. So
So I'm gonna dip it in. And
no, don't dip it in. Pour
Don't
it.
dip it in. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kidding. I'm not gonna dip it in. I'm
Okay.
just gonna
and
pour
I'm gonna
it.
help you cut it.
It's a half a cup, right?
It's a half a cup.
Okay.
Right. So 1 cup Kiawe flour, half a cup peanut butter, approximately. Yeah, go more.
More?
You can use any kind of nut butter. I mean, we've even
Second.
okay, good. We've even in the schools, because they have a no nut policy.
Yeah.
We took cooked ulu and cooked kalo and mashed it up and made Ai bars with that.
Really?
Yeah. So you can, it's like you can make it up. These are the base ingredients.
Hey, do we have a lot of ulu in Wai'anae?
More and more is being planted. I wouldn't say we have a lot of ulu, but I
Yeah, I
think
haven't
that.
seen a lot of trees out there.
But people are planting more. They have that ulu giveaway,
Yeah. In Peace does it. Yeah. I think they gave
Peace
me
did it. I know Ma'o did it. I think Ho'aina Omakaha did it. So
I know for Samoans it's a staple. So having ulu around is important. And now,
pass me that cover, and I'll trade you
Cover.
for the honey.
and we're going to do honey. And how much of the honey?
So the honey, we want a 1/4 cup. So
1/4 cup. So here we have.
a full cup of bean pod flour, Kiawe flour, a half a cup of nut butter, and a 1/4 cup of honey. Okay.
Okay.
And like you say, all approximate.
All right. So here we have the honey.
Okay.
But if people did want to get that scale, how much do some of those run?
They're just like, I don't know, $12, $15.
Oh,
They're
not
they're
bad.
Not much, yeah.
Do you feel like you use it a lot though, the scale, when
Well,
you cook?
because we use it because we make these all the time,
I see.
and
I'm just wondering if I should get a scale for my house.
if you're into Ai bars, it's kind of fun to have it,
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm sure that there's ways to figure this part out so it's like less messy,
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you've been making this a long time. I'm wondering if you don't even use the scale, if you just, by eye. You probably
we
can,
can
yeah?
guesstimate it. Yeah, we do sometimes too. It's just, you kind of wing it and then you taste it. I mean, you can kind of
To taste.
almost finish mixing it and then taste it and go, oh, it needs a little more of this, a little more of
So
that.
can I start stirring this?
We need pakai.
Just kidding. The 2 dashes
Right.
of Pohaku.
Yeah, and we'll kind of.
I think
Gonna
in
do
any
this.
baking recipe, there's always got to be a dash of salt, yeah?
Well, salt brings out flavor, right? So it brings out the sweet. It brings out. It brings out sweet.
So it intensifies maybe the taste of the honey in this.
It'll bring out sweet. I mean, like putting salt on watermelon, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm
Okay.
going to start stirring it
There
up.
you go.
Okay.
I'll drop this in for you. So Wai'anae, our community is blessed with Kiawe, and it's part of our. We're on a mission. Some people ask us if we're a business, and we are, but we're way more than that. We're actually, our mission is to create livelihood in our community.
Nice.
So we're not interested in seeing somebody build a big factory
Right.
and produce this. We're interested and actively working on cultivating youth and people in our community to become producers on their own.
And how awesome would that be? Entrepreneurship, having young kids in Wai'anae come out and make products like this to sell. I think it's amazing.
Fundraise, instead of fundraising brownies and candy,
Right.
fundraise with this, and then you're actually feeding people something that's good for them. So I know that we mentioned that it's diabetic friendly, and the dietitians tell me that it's diabetic friendly because it breaks down very slowly in the body. The flour is about 30% insoluble fiber.
Yeah, can I just add in there that, you know, when things break down slowly in your body, then that means that your body's working harder. That means that you're burning more calories. This is why maybe wheat flour would be preferable above white flour. And again, this is Kiawe flour, so it's kind of the same idea, is that when your body's working harder to break these things down, then it's more nutritious and it has a longer lasting effect.
Yeah, and one of the side benefits of eating food with Kiawe flour in it is that you're not hungry for a few hours.
Hey, and that's huge.
So you actually eat
Yeah.
less. You know, I actually think that, you know, in the near future, people are going to use Kiawe flour as a way of losing weight.
You know, and I think about that because actually in 2011 I was 260. So I have just had my
No way.
Yes.
Wow, that's
I had
awesome.
my 2 keiki and I was just blowing up. I was humongous because of course I was hungry all the time. And so one of the things that I realized when I started to lose weight, because I lost over 100 pounds, was that you got to curb your hunger. So it's dependent on what you're eating. So if you're feeding yourself maybe like cereal in the morning and thinking you're going to last to noon, you're not going to. Yeah, because you're not doing the right combinations of foods and you're not getting full in your meals. And so I actually changed it up to have like a protein and a carb in the morning, you know, and I actually calculated every calorie that went into my body.
Wow.
I would write everything down. And so that's when I got really, I'm going to change to mashing this together.
Yeah.
I got really aware of what I felt when I ate.
Awesome.
So then when I ate food, I could tell if it was good for my body or not. And a lot of us, when we eat, we actually we don't even know how we feel after. Did it make me feel good? Did it make me feel full?
Yeah.
I ask people and they're like, oh, I don't know, I just eat. Yeah, well, your body is actually the one that is your money maker, your body, you know. So if
Right.
you take care of your body, it'll take care of you.
Absolutely.
You live a longer life. I was less tired. I had more time with my children because I wasn't
Absolutely.
taking naps all day. And then in 2011, I ran the marathon because I was like, well, let's see what I can do.
All
So
right.
yeah, so I am a big believer in exactly what Vince is teaching us today, in making sure that what you do and what you put into your body is actually something that's going to be the right substances, you know. And here we go.
And you know, we tell folks that are diabetic, and you know, unfortunately, the reality is we have lots and lots of diabetics and pre-diabetics in our community that I can't tell you this is good for you if you're diabetic. You have to test it in your own
Right.
body.
Everybody's body is different.
Right. The scientific evidence is there. This is an ancient food. I guess that's the other thing I want to share, that for us in Hawaii, this is a brand new food. Making food out of these Kiawe bean pods is brand new, but this is old news.
Right.
Every place this tree is native, all through the southwest United States, where they call it mesquite, and down through South America, and even as far away as India, staple food for thousands of years.
I was
Like,
really interested because you had a video from South America. Where did you go?
I went to Argentina, to the north
Nice.
of Argentina, to
And
the
in
desert.
Argentina, you said it was plentiful there. It was all over, or
There was Kiawe up in the north, and these folks, the Wichi, it's an indigenous group of people. They still eat it every day.
wow.
You know, like in comparison to like in the Southwest, most of the native communities, they don't eat it anymore. They're on the same diet we are. You know, the white rice spam diet, and they're suffering like we
Yeah.
suffer. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, to me, it's like what a gift that, you know, our Aina, Mama Aina, has all these Kiawe trees growing in Wai'anae for all these years, and here we are. You know, 2015.
Right.
And we have this amazing food growing in our backyards. And I just want to say this too, that, you know, it's really important that we figure out ways together to get our community and our friends and our families out picking beans, making friends with these trees. Yeah, you got to wear something on your feet because they're pokey, you know. But there also are thornless trees that would be very worthwhile to propagate, to grow,
Right.
that generate sweet bean pods. But this is a Wai'anae superfood. This is a Hawaiian superfood. I mean, we call it
I'm just gonna
Wai'anae
eat while you
gold.
talk.
Yeah,
Yes,
eat,
go
eat.
ahead, yes.
Yes, taste it. I mean, you have to, you know, what do you think? Is it a
It's
good mix?
no, I love it.
On, right?
It's so tasty. I just gotta share that. I think for me, I would always see the Kiawe trees and think, oh, why don't we just cut them down? They're making
Yeah.
rubbish. They're all over the place. They're so ugly. But again, what he's saying is that it's everywhere in Wai'anae, and it's not on accident.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
And having the highest, you know, population with diabetic conditions and having something that may help those diabetic conditions, I mean, gosh, I think we better utilize it, right?
Yeah, I think we better, because if we don't, somebody else is going to come in and grab it.
It's
And
true.
we're going to have that extraction again, which is, happens all the time in our
Right.
communities, where we have a gift, a resource, and somebody comes in and makes out on it.
Well, and I think it's appreciating what's in your own backyard. Here we are in Wai'anae. Let's look at the sun that we have. It blesses us. Let's look at the Kiawe trees. They give us nutrients, but yet we go other places to find the food.
Right.
We go other places to find the nutrients when it's right
Right.
there in our backyard.
It is. And there's a saying, an old saying, Ai kamea loa'a. I eat kamea, the things, loa'a, that you have. And I know that they didn't make that saying about Costco's or Safe or Sack and Save. That saying was, eat what's in your yard, like you said. Eat what's in your backyard, in your neighbor's yard, in the ocean in front of your house. That's what.
Right.
And there's food. That's the other thing. You think, why not? Oh, it's too dry, hard to grow taro. Kind of hard to grow ulu. Hard to grow these traditional staples. Well, we have another staple that's here on our coast, that's there waiting for us to make use.
Right. So we're going to wrap this up, but thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm excited because you may have had a different mindset before you watched this, and now that you saw it, I want you to go ahead and think about that. What did I learn today, and how maybe can I change my patterns and my habits, either of eating or of appreciating the things around you, so that you can make better use of the land, make better use of the foods that are in your own community. And who knows, maybe there's more. Maybe we can even make musical instruments out of Kiawe beans,
Right.
I mean, the utility we have of the things that are right in front of us are still unknown. So we can still go out there and learn more about it. We can use it, and we can teach our children and actually live healthier lives.
Can I say a few words
Yeah.
to finish up? So, if you're interested in this, Google mesquite.
Okay.
There's lots of good information on the web about mesquite. And if you're interested in having an item bar clinic in your house and you live in Wai'anae, contact the rep
Hit
and
me up.
she'll hook you up. Okay.
All right, Vince, thanks so much for being here today
It's a
with me.
pleasure.